This is Manga Mavericks at Movies, the show where we celebrate and talk smack about movies. I'm Lumariasha.
And I'm VLord GTZ.
And today we're going to talk about the latest Lupin III flick, Lupin III Goemon Ishikawa's Spray of Blood.
Yup, and this was a pretty interesting one, I think.
Yeah, it's a rare occasion for Goemon to be the central focus of a Lupin flick, though it's debatable whether he really was.
I mean, he sorta was, for like half of the time.
Regardless, it was cool to be back in the Koike Lupin-verse again. It's been 3 years since Daisuke Jigen's Spray of Blood continued the story of the woman called Fujiko Mine TV series.
Wait, it's been 3 years?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Daisuke Jigen's Gravestone came out in 2014.
That feels like a very long time ago.
Yeah, so it's great to get back to the Koike-verse and see what's going on, though this didn't really advance the plot of the verse that much.
It felt like setup for something bigger.
Basically, this movie explains how Goemon becomes part of Lupin's crew in the Koike-verse.
Or I guess the Fujiko-verse?
Fujiko-verse. I guess Koike didn't direct the TV series.
Yeah,
but
he was still the animation director and the character designer, though, so...
Yeah.
But at the same time, they still use the Koike designs for Part 4, so... whatever, it doesn't matter.
They didn't really.
Don't they still listen with the character designer, or...?
Nope.
No Koike. Okay. Hashtag Varun was wrong.
Yeah, Varun was wrong, as always. But, yeah, so... Great to see more Koike Lupin. Love the aesthetic he has. And his action direction is unparalleled.
Yeah.
And it's always clear that he has a penchant for some racing scenes, as there are quite a few of those in this movie.
He really likes his car scenes for some reason.
Well, no surprise from the director of Redline, am I right?
He still has Redliner on the brain after all these years.
Would you like to explain what the plot of this film was, Wee Lord?
So essentially, it starts off with Goemon working for a Yakuza group. So pretty much he's hired as a bodyguard for this kind of Yakuza clan. But unbeknownst to him, there's an all-American woodsman assassin out for Lupin, Jigen, and Fujiko's heads. And Lupin, Jigen, and Fujiko just happen to be on the ship that the Yakuza clan is on, trying to steal some stuff. So the guy attacks them and kind of destroys the ship, kills the leader of the clan, and pretty much the entire clan blames Goemon for the incident. So it's up to Goemon to go hold up his honor by killing this all-American woodsman.
Yeah, this mob clan, though, mostly puts Goemon at blame because of resentment and jealousy, because the boss of the clan valued Goemon's skills way higher than theirs, and they basically left their boss to die when the ship was burning.
At one point, the fucking ship that they're on is burning down, and, some pipes or something drop down onto the boss. And even though his bodyguards are right there, the name he calls out is Goemon! Goemon, where are you? Help me! And they're like, oh, Goemon! So that's who you want! Come on, guys, let's just leave this piece of shit.
Yeah. So it's clear that they're the villains.
They were jelly.
It's they were planning to betray Goemon whether or not he succeeded in taking out Hawk, who's the name of the all-American
I forgot his name for
axe-wielding killer guy.
Yeah.
Who's obsessed with chopping down Lupin and turning him to compost.
He really likes turning things to the compost, really, because he constantly says it.
Yeah, I guess that's some stereotype of Americans, or, woodsman-like Americans. I'm not really sure.
I mean, one thing is that Hawk is just, a super stereotypical American.
There's this one scene where he's eating a bunch of ribs, and he's just going at it like an animal, and he's slurping his fingers. It's disgusting.
It's really funny, though.
100% American.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, aside from that, there's not, a ton of plot in this. Essentially, Goemon fights Hawk, he loses, and then he pretty much goes into, training for a few days to, enhance his senses. And pretty much then he goes back to the clan, defends himself when they try to betray him, and then he goes and fights Hawk in a rematch.
Yeah.
And that's essentially the entire story right there.
We really don't get much of a sense of what Hawk really wanted.
Yeah,
aside from killing Lupin, they nickname him the Bermuda Ghost, but we don't really get an explanation why he got that nickname at all.
They mentioned that he worked in the military and, like, while he was in Bermuda, he killed a ton of people.
I guess that was the explanation.
But, like, we never get, like, who hired him to kill Lupin and the gang.
Yeah.
Throughout this film, they keep dropping hints that Mamo was involved in this. That Mamo, like, for context, like, Hawk is supposed to be dead, apparently.
Uh-huh.
And Lupin, the police think Lupin and Fujiko and Jigen have also died.
Right.
Because they found some gravestones. So, it's implied that Mamo was somehow involved in, like, orchestrating fake deaths for all these people. So, what I'm thinking is that maybe Mamo hired Hawk to kill Lupin, Fujiko, and Jigen.
That's a very real possibility, and it would make sense considering the cliffhanger of Daisuke Jigen's gravestone.
Yeah.
But we don't get an actual appearance from Mamo in this film.
Yeah.
And I'm just hoping that, in the next installment, we get some more development on that front of, like, what's Mamo's big endgame here?
Yeah, it definitely seems like Koike is leading up to some sort of interpretation of his own of the mystery of Mamo. Which would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool. I would like to see a remake of that movie in Koike style.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be like
not an exact
by
remake.
the books remake. It's probably going to be different, but it's going to have Mamo's.
It's going to have Mamo's to it.
Yeah. Koike's will definitely be a lot more gory and bloody. For one
yes.
That's one thing to note about this. This film is bloody. Like,
yeah, it is probably one of the most violent Lupin the Third things that I have ever seen.
It's safe to say Koike's interpretation of Lupin is probably the most, I guess, gritty in terms of violence.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, Goemon cuts off so many hands in this.
Yeah. Like, the climax of the film, like, how he wins his fight with Hawk is that he cuts off his arm, but he sacrifices, like, a huge chunk of his shoulder, and you see the fucking muscle in his shoulder. It's, like, all exposed. It's like, dang! And, like, Lupin at one point gets, like, a stake stabbed right through his hand.
Surprisingly, he doesn't react, like, too badly to it. He's just like, oh, stake in my hand. I can't move this now.
It's like, what?
Oh, just another Sunday stab for me. It's all good.
Yeah, this is extremely violent, which, depending on your taste, is either gonna make or break this film, maybe.
Yeah, like
because there isn't much going on in the film outside of the violence. See, my biggest problem with the film, I enjoyed it, but my biggest problem with the film is that, this film, by the title, promised, like, a Goemon-focused adventure.
Except, it's not even solely focused on Goemon.
Yes, but more importantly, it doesn't really give us much insight into the character of Goemon, outside of he's an honorable samurai. That's it, really. That's his character arc. He's honorable. How he wins his fight against Hawk is that he, like, finds some sort of inner peace or becomes one.
All the training he was doing, like, they have this, like, whole, I guess, not really a montage, but kind of, like, several scenes where you see him, like, training in these different areas, and, like, him, like, hurting himself beyond belief. Lupin explains later that this is all so that he can raise his senses to their, like, maximum potency so that his reaction time has, like, no, like, lag to it. And also just, like, awakening kind of the sixth sense of just instinct. Like, him being able to, like, based on how Hawk is moving, adjust his own movements and counter.
I mean, it wasn't made very clear, so Lupin had to explain it. But,
because Jigen was definitely confused.
Yeah, I think as the audience was. But it's cool, it's definitely cool, but, like, there's not a whole lot of substance to this film.
One thing that also was kind of sad is that Fujiko kind of just rage quits partway through.
Yeah, Fujiko doesn't really have much of a point in this film. Just
like, Goemon just goes training. She's just like, "What's Goemon doing?" And then Lupin's like, "Oh, he's training to be a true man." And Fujiko's like, "Yeah, screw this. I'm out of here. Go have fun killing this guy."
Like, there's just one memorable scene with Fujiko where, like, Lupin's giving her a background, and the way it's framed is that at first you would think she's having sex, but, That's basically the extent of what Fujiko is used for.
Oh.
Fan service and sexual innuendos.
Poor Lupin, he's never gonna get that Fujiko. Even Zenigata got it there already.
Yeah, I mean, even the previous film, she kind of was just exploited and really didn't do that much.
On the bright side, this film didn't get it rapey with Fujiko like the last one did.
That was a relief, for sure.
Yeah, that was my big concern.
Yeah, but it's kind of a shame. This is the Fujiko-verse.
Yeah.
And she hasn't had anything to do with these last few films, really.
Especially with how, like, the woman called Fujiko Mine depicts Fujiko as such a strong, independent character. Like, Jigen's Gravestone especially didn't give her any justice in that front. But in Goemon's film, like, she just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, she helps rob the bank at the beginning of the film, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's the extent of it.
Yeah. But that's, I think, a big problem. I kind of wish Sayo Yamamoto would be continuing this, like, kind of storyline in this universe. But at the same time, I like Koike's interpretation, even though if we were to go through, like, the traditional Lupin, Sayo Yamamoto's, and Koike's is probably my least favorite Lupin interpretation.
I mean, yeah, just because he's about spectacle over substance, really.
Yeah, like, car chases, gory action, all that stuff. Which is really cool. And you don't need Lupin to have, like, a deep, complex story for it to be entertaining.
Right.
But, I don't know, like, after part 4 and the woman called Fujiko Mine, it just kind of feels like we're going backwards in terms of quality.
Maybe there'd be more that he could do if he was given a TV series. I'd love to see a
that's what I think would be cool. Like, if the next thing is Malmo and not, like, maybe a Zenigata film, it'd be a TV series where they have to face off against Mama.
Yeah, like a 13-episode series where it's all this one mystery and Mamo's behind it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be cool, for sure. But yeah, I'm not sure where Koike is going to go next with this. Who knows when he'll return to this. For all we know, it's going to be 2020.
Yeah, I guess the next film, since this universe started off with something focused on Fujiko, and then we got Jigen, now Goemon, I guess the next film will be Zenigata.
Yeah, and I think that could definitely be an interesting film, because if you remember at the end of The Woman Called Fujiko Mine, Oscar goes missing. He's MIA.
Yeah.
What if the film is about Zenigata having to hunt down Oscar? Like, Oscar's going on some sort of, like, serial killer spree, or, like, he's, like, wrecking havoc somewhere, and Zenigata's the one who has to stop him.
I would love to see closure for Zenigata and Oscar's relationship.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. And maybe a Zenigata-focused film could finally see the introduction of Melon Cop?
No, it's not gonna happen, Sid.
I want to see Melon Cop animated. He was fun.
It's not gonna happen, Sid. Also, isn't Melon Cop essentially Oscar?
I mean, I make that joke, but they're not really that somewhere.
Okay, fair enough. I still have to read the Lupin manga.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what Koike does next with Lupin. I mean, this film's a good time, but it's not, like, the best Lupin we've had recently. Like, I can't say it lived up to the hype I kind of had for it just because, you know, Goemon-focused Lupin film. Oh man, that could do so much with the character and cool samurai stuff.
I mean, I wasn't expecting too much from the film because I was expecting to be like Jigen's Gravestone, like a short 50-minute kind of feature film where it's just going to focus on Goemon, and it kind of didn't live up to the Goemon part of it because it was not, like, super about Goemon. Like, part of it was about Goemon training, the other part's about Lupin trying to get stuff to get Hawk to fight Goemon again and talking to Zenigata and, like, all the Mamo hint drops and stuff. Mm-hmm. But, like, overall, I liked it. I mean, just probably doesn't help that Lupin Part 4 just came out, like, 2015, and that's still fresh in our minds, and that was so good that going to this interpretation of Lupin just feels like a downgrade. I'm sure Koike actually is going to continue this. He's already dropped so many hints in these films that there's going to be more, so...
Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't take 3 years to get more, but...
Yeah, I don't know. As long as we have some Lupin content between that, I'm like, fine.
That's true.
Give us Lupin Part 5 or Fujiko Mine 2 or something.
That's true. It didn't feel like it's been a long time just because we did have Part 4 just recently.
Yeah. I remember when Jigen's Gravestone came out, people thought that was going to be what Part 4 was going to be like. And I'm kind of glad it didn't end up being that. As much as I like Koike's interpretation, I'm not sure if that's the interpretation Lupin should be using 100% going forward.
I mean, for one thing, it's not a family-friendly interpretation.
Exactly. That's one thing.
And Lupin is a family-friendly franchise for the most part.
Yeah.
So these more adult takes on Lupin. You know, they're fun and have them aside, but you can't lose sight of the fact that Lupin is supposed to be at all ages. Yeah.
And we can have our beautiful, flawless gems like Fujiko Mine out there, but we can't have that be the entire franchise.
Yeah. Why would we want to rob the fun out of Lupin? I mean, not to say the Koike stuff isn't fun. It's a different kind of fun.
Well, Sid, let me ask you a question here. Would you rather have a Lupin Part 5 along the lines of Lupin Part 4? Or would you have Sayo Yamamoto do all of the Lupin franchise from now on?
Those both sound like good options. I don't know.
But which is better, Sid?
It's a hard choice because Fujiko Mine is my favorite Lupin series.
Okay, so then they answer Sayo Yamamoto then.
But Part 4 is what I think is the best encapsulation of what Lupin is.
Okay, yeah, that's actually true. That's kind of the thing, though. I love Fujiko Mine. It's also my favorite Lupin series, but at the same time, I have trouble recommending it to people because not everyone's going to like it. While Part 4, on the other hand, which is probably my favorite traditional Lupin part, I can recommend that to everyone. I feel that it's like super open and super accessible, where Fujiko Mine, it's for a specific crowd of people and a specific kind of people who want that type of entertainment. So I think they serve like two very different purposes within the franchise. But I'm glad they both exist.
Yeah, I'm just glad to have different Lupin interpretations.
Yeah.
And even though it was definitely flawed, I'm definitely glad this film was made.
Yeah.
Only to introduce the character of Hawk and that fight between Goemon and him, because, oh man.
Oh, I showed a gif of the part where Goemon gets his skin cut off by Hawk and Hawk's arms cut off. And my friend's just like, when did Lupin get so violent? I thought this was supposed to be fun thievery.
But do we have anything else to say about this film?
I don't think so. I mean, it was a 15-minute film. There's not a ton to talk about, especially with it mainly just being a lot of really cool animation and action scenes. One thing you can always count on Koike for is a really cool car chase or some sort of vehicle scenes, and he still did those in this. That was cool.
Yeah, this was a cool film. I hope that Discotek will license and release it at some point.
Oh, I'm sure they will, and I'm sure TMS is going to dub it like they've done for Part 4 in Jigen's Gravestone.
That'll be nice.
But that's one thing I'm really happy about TMS, is that TMS, I think, really wants Lupin to succeed over here, which is really happy to see. You don't see a lot of, I feel, Japanese production studios actively trying to push their products the way TMS does for Lupin, I feel. Literally producing the dub themselves.
Yeah.
Which is nice to see.
It is. Who knows? Maybe one day we might see this on Toonami or something.
Maybe? I don't know. It's possible.
Yeah.
I'd say we're more likely to see an eventual Lupin Part 5 than this. I wouldn't be opposed to being on Toonami.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think that about does it for this discussion.
Yeah.
So on to the next movie!
Yay!